Breaking news out of the NFL. Bruce Arians is retiring from coaching in the league. Todd Bowles will take over as Buccaneers head coach. A huge prize from the National Football League as Bruce Arians is retiring at the age of 69. Keep in mind, citing health issues and a desire to focus on life outside of football, he left the Arizona Cardinals 4 years ago after 5 years on that job. Spent 2018 in the CBS broadcast booth, then resurfaced as coach of the Buccaneers. Now he's walking away from the game and walking away from Tom Brady as a Bucs quarterback. Let's get some insight on this with Bowles taking over as head coach, Arians retiring from the game. CBS NFL analyst Pete Prisco now joins us. Pete, Arians had said in the offseason he'd been in communication with Tom Brady. Tom Brady announced he's coming back, so it would make sense the two would join forces again to give it one last go. How surprised are you by this decision?
Well, I'm a little surprised because, look, this is one of those situations where you look at this team and you say Brady's coming back. They can compete in a bad NFC for another chance to win a Super Bowl. So you'd sit there and say, okay, it's a real shock. But when you talk to Bruce Arians over the years, and I've actually spent many a time talking to him about this, there's been a lot of health issues in his life. And, he walked away from the game once because of health issues. He went into TV. That didn't work out for him, which is why he wanted to get back in with the Bucs, then won a Super Bowl. But you get older in life and you start looking around and you have some health issues over the course of your lifetime. You realize, hey, maybe, coaching football isn't the only thing in life. So now he can step away, still be involved with the organization, spend more time with the family, spend more time with his children, and kind of be more involved off the field. So I understand the timing of it seems weird, but knowing Bruce Arians the way I do, I think this is one of those where he took a little more time, evaluated things, and said, the time is right for me to walk away.
All right, so how about we look at how this impacts this Buccaneers team with Tom Brady coming back. Obviously, the expectations are awfully high for them in the NFC. Todd Bowles takes over their DC as head coach now. Obviously, Arians had always been in lockstep with Brady with regards to offense. How does this impact the team with Brady at the helm under center?
Oh, I don't think it really impacts the team all that much. I mean, in terms of what they're going to do on offense, Byron Leftwich will still be the offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator under Bruce Arians. And, of course, Bruce had a lot of input into the offense, but Byron Leftwich was involved daily with Tom Brady, and they have a great relationship. So I don't think it's going to impact them from an offensive standpoint. And Todd Bowles has been a head coach. In fact, at the owners' meetings the other day, I was talking to a guy in the league, and he asked, do you ever think Todd Bowles would get another shot? I thought he would. He had a tough go of it when he was a head coach with the Jets. And I think this is one of those opportunities where it gets him back in. And that was important to Bruce Arians. He wanted to have the succession plan. He wanted to give one of his guys, whether it was Byron Leftwich or Todd Bowles, and Todd Bowles is probably more experienced, which is why he's the guy to do it, a chance to be a head coach again and a chance to run that team. So I understand the timing. I get it from Bruce Arians' standpoint. And I think it's a good move to make Todd Bowles the head coach. But I don't think it's going to impact it in any way, shape, or form because Byron Leftwich will still be the offensive coordinator.
Pete, would you think, because it's not too long ago that Brady made the announcement to come back, would you think that perhaps Tom Brady was clued into this prior to making his announcement to come back?
No, I don't think so. I think, look, there was some friction between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. They'd both probably be the first to tell you that. But that's just the way Bruce Arians has always coached. He's not going to back down from any player. He's going to pat you on the back when you do well. He's going to criticize you when you don't. And so, Tom Brady had that when he was in New England with Bill Belichick. And Bruce Arians was no different. So I'm sure there was some friction between the two. But Tom Brady wants to play football, and right now he's property of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So until somebody were to trade for him, which is highly unlikely, I don't see that happening if you're the Bucs, then I think he's going to be the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Or he might just say, hey, maybe I will retire, but I doubt it. I think he wants to play some more.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you look at the Buccaneers prior to this breaking news of Bruce Arians retiring, they had the second best odds to win the Super Bowl. From your perspective, does this news change that?
No, because I think those odds are in play because the NFC is not that good, A, and B, because Tom Brady came back. I mean, you look at the NFC, you look at the landscape. I mean, look at their division. Carolina doesn't have a quarterback. Atlanta doesn't have a quarterback. Some people will say New Orleans doesn't have a quarterback, although I think Jameis Winston is better than the perception of him outside, at the outside perception outside of New Orleans. So I think he's a pretty good player, but it's not a great situation in terms of all those teams from the quarterback position. And Tampa Bay does. They have Tom Brady, so they should win the division. They should be a team that wins a lot of games, particularly in that division. You probably win 5 of them. And that gives you a good head start on trying to get home field advantage. And so, no, I still think this is one of those teams that's going to compete for a Super Bowl in a weakened NFC.
Again, in a story confirmed by our Jonathan Jones, it's Bruce Arians retiring as head coach of the Buccaneers at the age of 69. He's Pete Prisco. Pete, we appreciate the insight, and this is what you're getting with him walking away from the game. Oldest coach to win the Super Bowl. This was the 2020 season at the age of 68. Two-time NFL Coach of the Year. Did it with the Cardinals, did it with the Colts back in 2012. And that coaching record includes 80 wins as a head man roaming the sidelines for a trio of NFL teams.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.